Or what's that, my people? So this came out a few days ago. Well, not technically, like it streamed early on the sites, but it will be out in like I think a week or 2 weeks or something. But this right here is The Walking Dead season 11, episode 1. I've been here for, has it been 11 years? I don't know if it's a year apiece or whatever, but it's been a long time, man. I've been on this Walking Dead journey. I remember whenever I started off, I wasn't into Walking Dead. I didn't want to watch it. And my cousin, he was like, man, this is so good. It's a comic book and this and that. And I was like, man, I guess I'm gonna check it out. And so I watched them online. Like I downloaded the episodes or something. And it was like on episode 9. So I watched all 9 episodes. And then I had to wait a week to see like it might have been more episodes, but I remember I watched every episode except for the season finale. And so I had to wait to watch the season finale when it came on the Sunday. So I was like, on pins and needles. And I've been a fan ever since that point. So I was a little late to the party, but I've been here since season 1. Man, and this one right here, it starts off like technologically and cinematically is very much different than all the Walking Deads I've seen so far. Like even the first scene, whenever they show the back of Daryl's jacket and stuff, like it just, the camera work, it looks like they put some money into it or something. But technology has came a long way. So even though things might look so much better, like it might not be due to budget, it might be just due to technology. Because like this cell phone right here can produce a better movie than I'm About It by Master P and them back in the days or whatever. But anyways, so it starts off in they're on a run. They're on a run, man, and we see some hibernating walkers and stuff. It reminds me of, it was the movie with Batista and them. Batista and Amari Hardwick and them. I forgot the name of it, but it was in Vegas fighting with the zombies and stuff. And they had like a scene when they had like some hibernating zombies and this and that. So that kind of reminded me of that. But we see like it's all the women down low and the men, but it does make sense because the men are like putting them down, and then they're gonna have to reel them back up. So it would make sense to put the lighter people down there, even though they're in grave danger, because it is a lot of walkers. It is a big horde of walkers, but it looks like this is like a military place or something. So they're getting MREs and everything. They look like they have weapons available. Carol wants to grab like a machine gun and stuff. It's not a machine gun. It's like an AR or something like that. But and Maggie's like, nah, don't do that. You don't want to disturb these walkers. So they making it through, and it looks like, man, everybody is very skilled now, man. People have gotten used to this. I don't know how much time has passed since the season has went off. Like it is as far as like the characters or whatever, if months passed or weeks or whatever. But they look comfortable in their robes. So we see them at this facility, and they get the supplies and everything. And I'm like, you know these walkers are going to wake up. You know they're going to wake up at some point. Somebody is going to trip or something like that. And we see them reeling up the supplies and everything. I'm like, one of these bags going to fall. One of these bags going to fall. And predictably, it does happen, but Daryl catches it. But he ends up bleeding in the process, and some blood falls on the walker. So we have epic walker fight scene. So everybody, like Maggie and Carol is down there like Hawkeye, like they up there tearing them up with arrows and stuff. Like To me, that's not a good close quarters weapon, like a big bow and arrow and stuff. But I guess it's like what they have at the moment. They don't have like all these weapons and guns and stuff, so that's cool. But they do end up getting some guns. Like Carol comes out and tearing them up. Carol is always like somebody that comes through in the clutch. She like MJ in the fourth quarter, man, like Kobe. But it looked like somebody was gonna die or whatever. But they didn't let anybody die. Carol, everybody goes, and Carol is about to leave, but then she turns around and goes grab MREs. It was crazy because Daryl is throwing knives from the top. Like, this brother is super accurate. Like, Daryl is throwing knives from 30 feet in the air and hitting walkers in the head, saving Carol. I'm like, okay, like they the Avengers. But that was some nice scenes, man. Like it showed like a budget. Like the budget was, they put a little change into that scene right there. We get to Alexandria, we see like, man, it's looking bad. Like from the whisper of war and stuff, Alexandria is pretty much falling. The crops and stuff are going. Like people are starving. There's a lot of tension. Like we can see like Maggie and Negan. But then Maggie's people comes and you get to see more characters entering the fray. But they gotta find some supplies and stuff. Because even this little run, they got a lot of stuff, and it's only like a week for the amount of people that they have to try to feed. And so they gotta do something. So Maggie gets the idea to go to Meridian. And so Meridian has crops and animals and everything. But the thing about that is they had like some ninja brothers came through and killed everybody, and they are monsters. We seen one of them last season, and he was tearing up everybody. So it's not a lot of people, but the people that they do have, there are some Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator ass brothers up in there. So how will they be able to topple these folks? Like they're gonna have to try. So they got to get some fighters together and go that way. The thing about it is, like from Alexandria and them, like Daryl is the only one kind of like volunteered, but Negan ends up going with them as well. Like he's the tour guide, and they go. It's storming, so they end up going underground, like through a subway tunnel and stuff. It looks crazy down there. Like Negan is the one, like smart person to me is like, yo, you see the water line, like it floods down here. They have a bunch of dead bodies. Like, I don't think that we should be doing this. And they like, shut up. You don't know. Shut up, stupid. And we ain't listening to you. You ain't running nothing. So everybody is like discounting Negan. I'm like, man, that's messed up. I'm like, because I've grown to like Negan through these seasons. And you know something, later in the episode, they kind of canceled. They don't cancel out my like for him, but they kind of put a little damper in it. They kind of make a little bit of the old Negan come back and be like, I was rooting for this brother. But let's jump to the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth, they got Eugene in them. Eugene, Ezekiel, Yumiko, Princess, and they getting interrogated, and that's something that the Commonwealth does. The Commonwealth is like a classist society. Like whatever your job or whatever previously before the world fell apart, that's kind of what you do now. Like if you was a lawyer before everything fell apart, you probably gonna be a lawyer now. You're gonna live a good life. If you were a janitor, you're gonna be a janitor now. You will have no way of moving up in society. They're gonna treat you bad. Like that's how the Commonwealth is. So it's a positive for some people, it's negative for some people. Like, but that's how they roll. So that's kind of why they doing this interrogation stuff, trying to see which class will you be in. And Ezekiel is the one that he bucks back against me like, if y'all gonna do this and that, blase blase. But then the thing about that is then he starts coughing crazy. Like his cancer is like, his cancer is acting up. Like, that sounds crazy, his cancer is acting up. But he's going through with his cancer. The thing that makes me, I wonder, I'm like, man, the Commonwealth, they kind of modern. They still have technology and stuff. I'm like, man, I hope they have like the technology to try to save Ezekiel. Like maybe some radiation or some kind of medicine or something like that. Maybe they can cut the goiter out, cut the tumor out or something. I don't know. But I would like that to happen, to try to save Ezekiel. Like, it's the last seasons and stuff. We're the last season. But I don't think that's gonna happen, because the Commonwealth, they don't seem like the type to really save somebody that's already like doing bad. We get back to Negan and them. So Negan is in the tunnel, and he already told him, like, this is stupid. Like, we need to get the hell up out of here. They got these walkers down there, and they are in plastic bags. They clearing them out. They're killing them in the plastic bags. But then you can't hear them. Like, if one gets loose, like they throats are cutting, this and that, so they don't have any vocal cords, so they not. So one almost kills one of the fellas. Negan saves him, and Negan's like, nah, I told y'all. Look, we got to get the hell up out of here. Look, I'm gone, and I know what you're doing. Like, you don't want to listen to me. It's not about this quest or whatever. You got me down here because you are trying to put me in the worst scenario, Maggie. You are trying to set me up to kill me like a dog, and I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm riding with Negan at that point. I'm like, word. I believe that. I think he is 100% correct. But then he starts talking noise, and then he like, man, you ain't gonna kill me like a dog, like Glenn. I'm like, I was with Negan till he said that. Like, he's trying to push her buttons. I'm like, and Daryl ends up punching him, rightfully so. I'm like, man, I've been with you, Negan. Like, you've been my dog, even though you did so much bad-ish. But you have redeemed yourself in my eyes. But now it's like, damn, Negan ain't shit. So, back to Princess and them. Princess turns out to be like a savant. Like, she knows everything about people. Like, she has immaculate memory, attention to detail. She sees little things about the people. So, in like Metal Gear fashion, like Metal Gear Solid, Snake or whatever, you gotta have little details for you to escape places and this and that. She knows every little detail, their schedule and whatnot to get away. One crazy thing like hit my mind is, like, they know whenever the people get away and they are probably going to have sex and have to take off their armor. So they end up taking the armor. But how did they get out of the little cage to follow them to get around their room to get the armor? Like, that was kind of odd to me. But hey, they got out. Now, something that rubbed me the wrong way is being a fan. Like, I've read all the comic books and everything. Like, I know Michonne has left the show and stuff, but she's still alive in the universe. But they are free, they escape, but then they have this wall, in a wall of the forgotten or the lost or whatever. And so they looking, and they see Yumiko's picture. And Yumiko is a lawyer that went to Oxford and Yale or Harvard or something like that. So she's going to be like in a high class in the Commonwealth or whatever. They're gonna treat her well. But she also sees family or in her picture, so they are looking for her. So she has to stay. The thing that rubs me the wrong way is this was Michonne's story in the comic book. Like, I know they do it to some extent. they could have did it maybe a little differently. They didn't have to have her a lawyer and everything. They took the exact Michonne storyline and was like, okay, we're just gonna give it to Yumiko. Yumiko is not a high character like Michonne, so that storyline I don't think is going to hit the same as it did in the comic books with Michonne. Michonne, we rode with her all these years and stuff, and then it turned out to be her daughter was living in the Commonwealth and whatever. So them giving that to Yumiko, I don't like that. But oh well. Then we get back to Daryl and them. So Daryl and them, they're in this subway system. They end up, a horde of walkers are coming their way. They gotta try to get out of there. So the only way to get out, pretty much, is they gonna have to climb high up in the air and get to the rafters or something. They climb in. A lot of them are getting away. Daryl's trying to grab his dog. His dog ends up going into like a little cave system. He has to try to chase behind him, and he like, I'm gonna meet y'all at the next place. So Negan climbs up. Then Maggie is right behind him. I'm like, man, even though they had all this bad tension and stuff, I'm like, Negan is gonna try to save her. Like, you see Maggie is climbing, she's like, she having a hard time. I'm like, Negan gonna do the right thing, man. He gonna grab her hand, and at least it's gonna be a step towards mending the fences a little bit. Nope. Negan looks and he's like, I was like, man, that's some bitch ass shit. But he's a survivor, he's an opportunist, so he like, man, I know you're trying to kill me. So, well, bitch, you gonna die. I'm like, damn. So, this episode was pretty good, man. Like, we're gonna see where this season goes. I hope this season is a successful one, man. Like, I would like for it to go out on top. Like, been a fan all these years. But, man, we're gonna see, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Gonna be the greatest and the most hated, man. Holla at your boy. Peace.